From time to time, just like regular drivers taking their cars for maintenance, we sometimes have to send our rockets for servicing. One day, while Daniel and I were waiting in the waiting room, we heard on the TV that our help was needed somewhere in the world. News speaker, welcome to the news program. The wonderful spring river is rapidly drying up due to a fallen palm tree that's blocked its flow. There are piles of rocks and mud formed at that spot. Downstream, many families of tiny fish are at risk of hunger. They urgently need our help. With each passing minute, the water is decreasing, and we can't imagine what might happen to these incredibly cute little fish. The whole world is watching this event, and we all hope for a miracle. Wise Captain Daniel already started brainstorming on how we could quickly begin our rescue mission. He said we couldn't wait for the mechanics to reassemble the rocket, since it was taken apart into tiny pieces. So, all we did was send a message to the main processor of the rocket to fly to our rescue at the coordinates where the distressed fish were. This was our first mission without the rocket. We didn't know where to start, so Daniel turned to his parents for help. It turns out they had their kayaks, and in no time, we were on our way to the rescue. My friend was a little nervous looking out the window. We had never taken parents on a mission before. At the starting point, many people were already present, eager to help the fish. It turned out that Daniel's parents had been here before. But back then, there was so much water that even adults couldn't reach the bottom. Now, even Daniel could comfortably walk on the riverbed. We needed to leave urgently since the river was rapidly getting shallower. Daniel's parents mainly paddled with the kayaks, while my friend and I switched from one kayak to another each stop. As we paddled deeper into the water, we encountered fewer companions. Soon, there were only 2 kayaks left. Ours. Initially, the problem seemed simple, but soon we realized that paddling became harder as we went further. We didn't allow ourselves to rest, as the water level kept dropping, and our kayaks got stuck on logs and palm roots. Finally, we reached the problem spot. The fallen palm trees gathered lots of rocks, which weren't easy to clear. We needed equipment for this. But we all understood that with paddles and kayaks, we couldn't clear everything the hurricane had done. As night approached, our chances were shrinking. At some point, we heard the sound of a powerful engine in the distance. Perhaps it was our rocket. We tried to send it a text message or call, but there was no network in such remote areas. This attempt was failed. Then, Daniel said we made a big mistake in the message to the rocket. We gave it a different meeting point, where the trapped fish were, not where the palms and rocks blocked the river's flow. The rocket didn't know that because of this problem. We couldn't reach the meeting point ourselves. The rocket didn't know that besides the fish, we also needed help. Once, while looking for a narrow passage downstream, we came across an old turtle. I immediately jumped from the kayak onto a log and started asking if there were other alternative paths to the fish. I asked if it knew how to get to the place where the rocket flew. It turned out the turtle didn't even know what a rocket was. Then I asked if it heard a loud engine noise nearby. That's where we needed to go. The turtle finally understood what we wanted and pointed us in the right direction. It turned out to be an old, rusty catamaran. As soon as we reached it, ducks got worried, thinking we were going to try and start it. And smoke clouds would rise again around the river. Apparently, an old fisherman with a small boat had come here during the day. He tried to start his old catamaran. The engine made loud puffs, groaned, rattled, and then sputtered and stopped. The turtle mistook this noise for the rocket. Oh no, we spent so much time checking its advice, but it turned out to be unsuccessful. Today, we won't be able to reach the starting point in time, as it will soon be dark and the distance is huge. So, we kept an eye out for a convenient island to stay overnight and asked other local inhabitants about alternative paths to the fish and our rocket. Soon, we didn't need to explain our destination and mission to almost every duck. They simply told us, "Don't miss the passage through the reeds around the corner. There's an opening there." Some birds, hidden among the thick of the trees, just chirped to us, "Good luck, friends." And it felt heartwarming. It meant that we were needed with our good deeds. Even the water-striding mosquitoes, or perhaps they preferred to be called water spiders, accompanied us for a while, softly chirping their advice. Suddenly, the same turtle we met earlier appeared, accompanied by its friends. Apparently, it was told about the fish situation, and it decided to help. We didn't tell it that its first advice was unsuccessful and attentively listened to what else it had to offer. The turtle said that their group would travel downstream to find out where our rocket was and would return soon. Viewers watching this video probably know how slowly turtles go about their business. Out of politeness, we agreed. Daniel's dad said we should prepare a place for our overnight stay a little before it gets completely dark. It's safer that way. When we settled down for the night, mosquitoes flew in and told Daniel that it's not safe to wander in such places, especially without parents. Crocodiles live here, and while they are rare, there's a risk. We spotted where the deer were grazing. It turns out they graze even more at night than during the day. The deer told us they heard our rocket roaring. During the day, it wanted to land in a very noisy spot on the river to check if there were any people around. But it got stuck between two small trees. It needs our help too. We also saw an owl, and it said it would check everything at night, since it had been sleeping all day and didn't hear any news. Finally, morning came. To our surprise, the turtle had managed to paddle back and forth during the night, finding our rocket in the same trouble as the fish. The rocket got stuck. The owl hooted from a tree in the morning, warning all the animals in the vicinity to help us on our way. It also confirmed that we are much needed in the river delta. The owl told the fish that we are rushing to their aid and everything should be resolved soon. The deer showed us where small channels flow, which are convenient for kayaking. In the morning, with renewed energy, we set out to rescue the rocket so we can return to the riverbed, clear up the piled stones, and lift the palm tree that blocks the flow and collects debris. A big surprise awaited us in the morning when an alligator swam up to us and assured us that he would accompany and protect us from any predators. He considers our mission worthy. Ah, here it is, our rocket. It wanted to save us so much that it risked lowering itself to the water's surface. Let's give it a little push. Hooray! We did it! Now, let's get on the rocket and fly to save the river's flow. As expected, we quickly cleared the blockages, and the water began to flow freely along its natural course. The joyful chirpings of birds filled the trees again. Dad decided to check if we secured the palm tree properly to ensure it won't fall again soon. The test was successful. Other people followed suit, testing the palm tree, and it seemed to have become a local attraction. When we approached them, the fish were a little scared. There was very little water in the river. So, we took out the bread we had and started giving it to the fish. They forgot their fears and ate from our hands. It was evident that they were really hungry. To be honest, it brings great joy to feed the fish and know that you and your friends and parents have just done something really good. You saved so many living organisms and preserved the ecosystem of this river. Having shared almost everything we had with the fish, we reassured them that everything would be fine now and we needed to fly back. We had expended a lot of energy, and we were also hungry. We saw how the river was filling up in that spot. Other people were arriving on kayaks since the flow was no longer blocked.